Maya Chin gasped, the metallic taste of blood filling her mouth as she collapsed onto the cold floor of the convenience store. Her last conscious thought was of the terrified brown eyes of little Sophia Blackwood, the 6-year-old she had just pushed out of the gunman's path. The world faded to black, the chaos of sirens and shouting drowning in the silence of her mind. When she finally awoke, it was not to the familiar smell of antiseptic in her hospital's break room, but rather to a luxurious suite, dimly lit, with soft music playing in the background. The sterile smell was replaced by something sweeter, something comforting. Blinking against the harsh light, she tried to sit up, only to feel a sharp pain stab through her chest. "Easy there," a deep voice soothed, and she turned her head slowly to find a man sitting beside her. He was tall, with dark hair that framed a perfectly chiseled face, and his blue eyes were focused intently on her. In his hand, he held her daughter, Sophia. "Maya," he said gently, "you're safe now." Maya's heart raced as she took in the scene. "Sophia," she croaked. The little girl, clutching a stuffed bear, looked up at her with wide, worried eyes. "You saved me, Maya," Sophia whispered, her voice small. "You're a hero." Maya's heart sank. She remembered the gunman, the shot that had pierced her chest, and the fear that had gripped her as she thought of her own daughter, Emma, waiting for her at home. "Where's Emma?" she gasped, panic rising in her throat. A flicker of sadness crossed the man's face. "She's with my family. We're taking care of her." "Who are you?" Maya demanded, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'm Lucas Blackwood," he replied, his tone calm but serious. "Sophia's father." Maya's mind raced. This was the man she had only seen in passing, always rushing from one place to another, his daughter in tow. She started, but the words wouldn't come. "You saved her life," Lucas said softly. "And I don't know how to thank you." Maya looked at Sophia, who was still watching her with those big, innocent eyes. The weight of her own daughter's absence bore down on her like a stone. "I need to see Emma," she said, her voice trembling. Lucas nodded, but there was a hesitation in his gaze. "I promise you will. But right now, you need to heal. You took a bullet for Sophia. You're lucky to be alive." Maya's heart ached at the thought. She had saved Sophia, but what had happened to Emma? Had she even known her mother was in danger? "Can I hold her?" Maya asked, her voice breaking. Lucas exchanged a glance with Sophia, who nodded earnestly. Carefully, he placed the little girl in Maya's arms. The warmth of Sophia's small body brought a rush of tears to Maya's eyes. "I'm so proud of you, sweetheart," Maya whispered, hugging her tightly. "I'm so sorry I scared you." Sophia squeezed her tightly, the unspoken bond of their shared experience solidifying in that moment. But as Maya held her, the reality of her own daughter's absence loomed larger than ever. "Where's Emma?" she pressed again, her voice shaking. Lucas took a deep breath. "She's safe. I promise. My wife is with her." Maya felt a flicker of relief, but it was quickly overshadowed by a new wave of anxiety. "You said, your wife?" "Emma's with my family," he clarified, his tone gentle but firm. "They're looking after her until you're well enough to go home." Maya nodded slowly, trying to process the information. "I need to get back to her." "You will," Lucas assured her. "But you need to focus on healing. The doctors say it's a long recovery." Maya looked at him hard, searching for any hint of deception. But there was none. Lucas Blackwood was earnest, and for now, he was her only connection to Emma. As the days passed, Maya found herself in a strange limbo. The hospital was luxurious, but the walls felt like a prison. With each passing hour, her thoughts were consumed by Emma. She knew her daughter was safe, but the waiting gnawed at her, a constant reminder of her helplessness. Lucas visited every day, bringing Sophia along. Each time, they would sit together, Maya, Sophia, and Lucas, sharing stories that felt both intimate and surreal. He spoke about his life, his family, and how he had a knack for finding trouble. Maya listened, grateful for the distraction, but her mind often drifted back to her own daughter. "Why do you care so much?" she finally asked one night, as Lucas sat next to her bed. "You barely know me." He looked at her with those piercing blue eyes, a hint of something unspoken passing between them. "You saved my daughter's life. That's more than enough reason. But what about the risks to your own family?" Maya pressed, the frustration spilling over. "What if the gunman comes back?" Lucas's expression hardened. "He won't. The police are on it. But I understand your concern. I'll do everything to protect Emma and Sophia." "You mean your family," Maya corrected softly, bitterness creeping into her voice. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "You're right. But it doesn't change how I feel about what you did." Maya looked away, feeling the weight of her choices and the burden of her sacrifice. "I just want to be with my daughter." "I'll make sure you get to her," Lucas promised, his voice steady. "Just give it time." But time felt like a luxury she couldn't afford. Each day blurred into the next, and every moment spent in the hospital only deepened her anxiety about Emma. She had fought to save one child, now, she was desperate to save her own. One evening, after Lucas had left, she sat alone in her room, staring out of the window at the city lights flickering against the night sky. The pain in her chest was a constant reminder of the decision she had made, a decision that had put her life on the line for someone else's child. Suddenly, her phone buzzed on the bedside table, and her heart leapt. It was a message from Lucas. "Emma is safe. I'll bring her to see you tomorrow." Relief washed over her, but it was tinged with anxiety. Would Emma understand why her mother wasn't there? Would she blame her? The next day, Maya was impatient, counting the minutes until she could see her daughter. The moment Lucas entered the room, Emma's small hand grasped tightly in his. Maya's heart soared and shattered all at once. "Mommy!" Emma cried, rushing into her arms. Maya held her tightly, tears streaming down her cheeks, the world around them fading into nothing. "I missed you so much, baby." "I was scared," Emma whispered, pulling back to look into her mother's eyes. "Where were you?" "I had to help someone," Maya said, her voice trembling. "But I'm here now. I'm so sorry." Lucas stood back, watching the reunion silently. Maya felt a mix of gratitude and guilt toward him. He had kept her daughter safe, but the cost weighed heavily on her heart. As the evening wore on, the three of them sat together, a makeshift family bound by circumstance. Sophia played with Emma, their laughter echoing in the sterile room, while Maya and Lucas exchanged cautious glances. But shadows lurked just beyond the bright moments. The gunman was still out there. The danger was far from over. As the night deepened, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that something was coming, something dark that would test their fragile peace. And she would be ready to face it, no matter the cost. Because that was what a mother did. Chapter 2. Maya lay in her hospital bed, the sterile scent and the soft beeping of machines slowly becoming the backdrop to her life. The reunion with Emma had been a balm for her wounded soul, but the shadows of uncertainty still loomed large. She could feel the weight of her situation pressing down on her, a burden made heavier by the knowledge that she had saved Sophia, but at a cost. Dante Blackwood, the man who had once been a fleeting figure in her life, now haunted her thoughts. She had seen the raw emotion in his eyes when he looked at Sophia, a fierce protector, but she had also sensed something deeper, something primal that made her skin crawl with unease. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the soft glow of the room faded into twilight. Maya stared out the window, watching the city lights flicker to life. The world outside moved on, oblivious to her struggles. She felt trapped in this bubble of luxury and pain, the hospital suite feeling more like a gilded cage than a refuge. The door swung open, and in walked Dante, his presence filling the room with an intensity that was nearly palpable. He was dressed in a tailored suit, his dark hair slicked back, but there was no mistaking the tension in his posture. "Maya," he said, his voice low and steady, yet laced with something she found hard to place. "I came to check on you." "Why?" she shot back, her defenses rising. "You've done enough." He stepped closer, and she could see the fine lines of stress etched onto his face. You saved my daughter's life. I owe you. I don't need your debt, she replied, trying to keep her voice steady. I didn't do it for you or anyone else. I did it for Sophia. Dante's expression softened, but the determination in his eyes was unwavering. You're still in danger. The gunman is still out there, and you need protection. Let me help you. Maya shook her head, anger bubbling beneath the surface. Help? By throwing money at the problem? You think that's what I need? I need my life back. I need to go home. You can't go home, he said, frustration creeping into his tone. Not until you're well enough. I'm fine, she snapped, her voice echoing off the pristine walls. I can take care of myself. I don't need a billionaire playing the knight in shining armor. Dante's jaw tightened, and for a moment, she could see the conflict raging within him. It's not just about money, Maya. It's about safety. You've made an enemy, and you don't even know it. The guy who shot you, he wasn't just some random criminal. He was looking for something. What could he possibly want from me, she demanded, her heart racing. Dante hesitated, his gaze almost unreadable. You saved Sophia, but that act has consequences. You've caught the attention of people who don't care about right and wrong. Maya let out a bitter laugh. So you're saying this is all my fault? I saved a little girl, and now I'm in danger? No, Dante replied, his voice firm. You saved her, and now you owe it to yourself to stay alive. Let me help you. Maya's pride flared, burning hot in her chest. I don't need anything from you, Dante. I can manage on my own. He stepped forward, his intensity almost overwhelming. You're in medical debt right now. You can't pay for this hospital stay. Let me help you with that. Stop trying to buy me, she hissed, her fists clenching at her sides. I won't be a charity case. Dante's expression shifted, a mixture of frustration and something softer. I'm not trying to buy you, Maya. I'm trying to repay a debt. You saved my daughter. It's more than just money, it's a matter of honor. Honor? She snorted, incredulous. This isn't some medieval tale. I don't need your chivalry. Maybe not, he admitted, his voice dropping to a whisper. But there's something about you that, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a call I can't ignore. Maya felt a shiver run down her spine. There was something dangerous in his words, something that resonated deep within her. You're not making any sense. I'm trying to protect you, he said, his tone becoming urgent. The people I deal with, they don't play by the same rules as the rest of us. They won't stop until they get what they want. And you're tied to that. For a moment, silence enveloped them. Maya searched his eyes for any signs of deceit, but all she saw was an intensity that both frightened and intrigued her. What do you want from me? She finally asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I want you to let me help you, he replied, his sincerity cutting through her defenses like a knife. I don't want to see you hurt because of my daughter's life being saved. Maya's heart raced, torn between her instincts and the undeniable magnetism of the man before her. And what happens when this is all over? Will you just walk away? I don't know, he admitted, his honesty leaving her momentarily speechless. But I can't walk away now. Not while you're in danger. The tension in the room thickened, a palpable force that pulled them closer. Maya felt her resolve wavering, the pride that had kept her upright beginning to crumble under the weight of her fear and vulnerability. Why do you care so much? She asked, her voice softer now. Because I'm the alpha of my pack, he said, the words rolling off his tongue with a weight that made her shiver. And I take care of my own. Maya, he continued, his gaze locking onto hers with an intensity that made her heart race. You're part of that now. Whether you like it or not. Her mind reeled at his revelation, the implications swirling around her like a storm. You're serious? Deadly, he replied, his voice low. The world you're in now is bigger than you realize. And you're in the center of it. Maya took a step back, her instincts screaming at her. I don't want to be part of your world. I can't be. Then you're putting yourself and your daughter at risk, he warned, his voice firm. You have to understand, there are forces at play that you can't begin to comprehend. Like what? She challenged, her heart pounding in her chest. What are you talking about? The pack is more than just a family, he explained, his expression hardening. It's a community tied by blood and duty. When you saved Sophia, you became more than a bystander. You took on a debt that must be repaid. Maya felt the ground shift beneath her feet, the enormity of his words sinking in. You're saying I'm tied to your pack now? Yes, he affirmed, his gaze unwavering. And it's not something you can simply walk away from. Then let me walk away, she demanded, the fight rising within her again. I don't want any part of it. Dante's expression hardened, the air between them crackling with tension. You can't simply dismiss this, Maya. It's not a choice you have. You've already made it. And what if I refuse? She shot back, her heart racing. Then you put yourself and your daughter in danger, he replied, his voice low and steady. And I can't allow that. She felt her breath hitch, the weight of their conversation settling heavily in the room. You think you can just bully me into accepting your help? Not bullying, he corrected, his tone shifting to something softer. Guiding. Protecting. This world is dangerous, and I can't stand by and watch you walk into it unprepared. Maya felt her heart twist in her chest. She had always fought her own battles, had always prided herself on her independence. But this was different. The stakes were higher, and she had Emma to consider. Why can't I just go home, she pleaded, desperation creeping into her voice. Because home isn't safe anymore, he said, his voice low and serious. You need to stay close to me until we can ensure your safety. Maya's mind raced, torn between her instincts and the primal pull she felt toward him. And what happens when I'm better? Dante stepped closer, his gaze intense. You'll have a choice. But until then, you need to accept my help. I'm not just some billionaire trying to buy your gratitude. I'm trying to protect you. Her heart raced at the sincerity in his voice, and for a fleeting moment, she considered the possibility. But the thought of becoming entangled in his life, his world, felt like stepping into a dark abyss. Let me think about it, she finally said, her voice trembling. Dante nodded, and for the first time, she saw a flicker of understanding in his eyes. That's all I ask. But know that I won't give up on you. With that, he turned to leave, the door clicking shut behind him, leaving her alone with her thoughts. The weight of his words hung in the air, a constant reminder of the choices she now faced. As the night deepened, Maya felt the shadows closing in around her, the uncertainty of her future looming larger than ever. She thought of Emma, the little girl who relied on her, and the sacrifices she would make to protect her. But could she trust Dante? And what did it mean to be tied to a pack she didn't understand? The answers remained elusive, a tangled web of emotions and instincts pulling her in every direction. The fight was far from over, and the choices she made now would shape the course of her life for years to come. Maya lay back against her pillows, staring at the ceiling, the darkness pressing in around her. She would have to decide soon, between her pride and her need for safety, between independence and the bonds of a world she had never known. And as the night wore on, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was coming, something that would change everything. The clock on the wall ticked steadily, each second a reminder that time was running out. She was caught in a storm, and whether she wanted to or not, she could feel the winds of fate beginning to shift. Chapter 3. The moment Maya stepped into her crumbling apartment, the weight of the world settled back onto her shoulders. The familiar scent of old wood and stale air greeted her, but it felt more suffocating than comforting. She dropped her bag by the door and took a moment to breathe in the chaos that was her life. Dishes piled high in the sink, bills scattered across the coffee table, and the remnants of a life that had once felt secure. She glanced at the calendar on the wall, the bright colors a stark contrast to her mood. It was the first of the month, and the rent was due, along with her mounting medical bills. The anxiety twisted in her stomach, a reminder of the reality she couldn't escape. Maya pulled out her phone, scrolling through the messages that had piled up since her hospital stay. Most were from Emma's school, reminders and updates. But one message stood out like a beacon, and she cursed under her breath as she read it again. Dante Blackwood wants to assist you with your financial situation. No thanks, she muttered to herself, tossing the phone onto the couch. She had been clear, hadn't she? She didn't want his help, didn't want to be tied to him in any way. The very idea of accepting anything from him felt like a betrayal, not just to herself but to the independence she had fought so hard to maintain. She moved through the apartment, cleaning up the chaos that had accumulated during her time in the hospital. Each item she picked up felt like a weight she could no longer bear. The world outside continued to spin, but inside these walls, she felt trapped, like a small creature caught in a web, waiting for the predator to pounce. As she sat down at the small kitchen table, Emma's laughter echoed in her mind, a stark contrast to the silence that enveloped her now. The thought of her daughter brought a small smile to her lips, but it quickly faded as she remembered how much Emma had missed her while she was recovering. Mama. Emma's voice rang out as she burst through the door, her backpack slung over one shoulder. I'm home. Maya stood up, her heart swelling as Emma rushed into her arms, the little girl's warmth filling the void of loneliness. I missed you so much. Maya said, squeezing her tightly. I missed you too. Emma replied, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Guess what? I made a new friend at school. Oh really? Maya asked, ruffling Emma's hair playfully. Who is it? Sophia. Emma exclaimed, her enthusiasm infectious. She's really nice, and her dad is super cool. We played on the swings together. Maya's heart sank slightly at the mention of Dante's daughter. She had saved Sophia, but the thought of Dante being involved in their lives made her uneasy. That's great, sweetie, she said, forcing a smile. I'm glad you made a friend. As Emma chattered on about her day, Maya's mind wandered back to Dante. He was relentless, and she was tired of feeling like prey being hunted. She needed to assert her independence, to stand her ground against the man who seemed to think he could manipulate her life however he pleased. After dinner, as Emma settled in with her favorite book, Maya sat on the couch, her thoughts racing. She couldn't shake the feeling that Dante was lurking in the shadows, orchestrating every aspect of her life. The thought made her skin crawl. She picked up her phone again, trying to focus on something, anything, other than the gnawing anxiety in her gut. But the moment she opened her inbox, her heart sank. Your rent has been paid in full. Thank you for being a valued tenant. Damn it, she hissed, throwing the phone onto the table. This was exactly what she didn't want. Mommy? Emma's voice broke through her thoughts, and Maya looked over to see her daughter peering at her with wide eyes. Everything's fine, honey, Maya replied, forcing a smile. Just a little upset about bills. Emma nodded, clearly not convinced, but she returned to her book, leaving Maya to stew in her frustration. The next morning, Maya decided to take a stand. She would confront Dante, tell him to leave her life alone. She needed to reclaim her autonomy, to show him that she didn't need him or his money. As she prepared for the day, she caught sight of herself in the mirror. The reflection staring back at her was one of exhaustion, but there was a fire in her eyes. She wouldn't let anyone control her life, not now, not ever. After dropping Emma off at school, she headed to Dante's office, her heart pounding in her chest. She marched through the lobby, her determination unwavering, and approached the receptionist. I need to see Dante Blackwood. The receptionist looked up, her expression wary. Do you have an appointment? No, but it's important, Maya insisted, her frustration bubbling beneath the surface. The receptionist hesitated but eventually picked up the phone. I'll see if he's available. Maya barely had time to catch her breath before she was ushered into Dante's office. The moment she stepped inside, his presence enveloped her, powerful and commanding. He was standing by the window, looking out at the city below, his back turned to her. Miss Chen, he said, his voice smooth but laced with an underlying tension. To what do I owe the pleasure? Cut the crap, Dante, she replied, crossing her arms. I know you're behind my rent being paid and whatever else you've been doing. I want it to stop. He turned to face her, his expression inscrutable. I'm just trying to help, Maya. I don't need your help, she snapped, the words bursting forth with all the pent-up frustration she had been holding. I can take care of myself and my daughter. Dante stepped forward, his gaze piercing. You're in a precarious situation. I'm trying to protect you. By controlling every aspect of my life, she retorted, her heart racing. You think this makes me feel safe? It makes me feel like I'm a pawn in your game. There was a flicker of something in his eyes, an intensity that made her pulse quicken. This isn't a game. I'm trying to repay my debt to you. Your debt? You're making my life worse, she shouted, the frustration spilling out. Do you even realize how it feels to have someone manipulate everything around you? Dante stepped closer, his gaze locking onto hers with an intensity that made her breath hitch. You think I'm manipulating you? He asked, his voice low and dangerous. I'm trying to keep you safe from the chaos that surrounds you. Chaos? She echoed, her voice trembling. You're the chaos, Dante. I don't want your protection if it comes with strings attached. For a moment, the tension hung thick in the air, and Maya felt her heart race as she stared into his eyes. But then, something shifted. In an instant, his eyes flashed gold, just for a heartbeat, but it was enough to send her heart racing even faster. What was that? She whispered, her voice barely audible. Dante stepped back, his expression hardening. It was nothing, he said quickly, but his voice lacked conviction. Don't lie to me, she shot back, her pulse pounding in her ears. What are you? Maya, please, he said, his voice low and soothing. You're not ready for this conversation. Ready for what? She demanded, her frustration boiling over. What are you hiding? He held her gaze, and for a moment, the world around them faded. She could feel the pull between them, an electric tension that made her heart race. But it was overshadowed by her anger and confusion. Just promise me you'll stay safe, he said, his voice a whisper. For Emma's sake. Maya turned away, her heart pounding. I don't want anything to do with you or your world, Dante. Just leave me alone. As she stormed out of his office, she felt the weight of his gaze on her back, a predator watching as its prey slipped away. The sun was shining as she made her way back to her car, but the brightness felt like a cruel joke. The world outside continued to move on, oblivious to her internal turmoil. Emma's laughter echoed in her mind as she drove to the park, the familiar sounds bringing her a small measure of comfort. She needed to get her daughter away from all this chaos, to a place where they could breathe freely again. When she arrived at the park, a wave of relief washed over her. The sun was warm, and children were playing on the swings and slides. But as she scanned the area, her heart sank when she spotted Dante and Sophia sitting on a nearby bench, watching the children play. Mama! Emma cried, darting toward them with excitement. Maya's heart raced as she followed her daughter, a mix of anxiety and anger flooding her system. Emma, wait, she called, but it was too late. Maya! Dante greeted her, his voice smooth as silk. I didn't expect to see you here. Neither did I, she replied tersely, forcing a smile for Emma's sake. What are you doing here? Just enjoying a day out with Sophia, he said, gesturing to the little girl beside him. It's a beautiful day for the park. Emma bounced on her toes, her excitement palpable. Sophia is my friend, Mommy. Can we play with them? Maya hesitated, feeling the weight of her earlier confrontation with Dante. I don't know, sweetie. Come on, Maya, Dante urged, his voice coaxing. It's just a play date. What harm can it do? She wanted to say no, wanted to protect Emma from the chaos that Dante represented, but the look of pure joy on her daughter's face made her heart ache. Fine, she relented, knowing she was conceding to the inevitable. Yay! Emma squealed, darting off toward the swings. Maya stood there, torn between her protective instincts and her desire to see her daughter happy. As she watched Emma and Sophia play, she felt a sense of unease creeping back in. Dante's presence was like a shadow, always lurking, always watching. "Isn't it nice to see them together?" Dante said, his gaze fixed on the girls. "They seem to have an instant bond." "Yeah, well, it doesn't mean I want to be involved in your life," Maya replied, crossing her arms. Dante turned to her, his expression serious. "You can't keep pushing me away, Maya. It's not just about you anymore. Emma is tied to this too. Don't you dare bring my daughter into this," she shot back, her heart racing. "I want her to have a normal life, not one tangled up in whatever it is you're part of." "Normal life?" he echoed, his face hardening. "You think your life is normal? You're in danger, and you're putting Emma in danger by refusing to see that. Stop pretending you care about Emma when all you want is to control everything," she snapped, her anger boiling over. Dante stepped closer, his voice low and intense. "You're right, I want to protect you both. But I can't do that if you keep resisting me." Maya felt the tension crackle between them, the air thick with unspoken words. She could feel the pull, the gravity that seemed to draw her toward him. But it was a dangerous game, one she wasn't willing to play. "Just leave us alone," she said, her voice shaking slightly. "We don't need you." "You do," he insisted, his gaze unwavering. "You just don't want to admit it." As the argument hung in the air, Maya watched Emma and Sophia swinging side by side, their laughter ringing clear and bright. The innocence of the moment made her heart ache. She wanted to protect that, to shield her daughter from the complexities of their lives. But Dante was right about one thing: her life was not normal anymore, and the danger was real. "I'm not going to let you dictate my life," she said finally, her voice firm. "I'll find my own way." Dante's expression shifted, a mixture of frustration and something softer. "You think you can do this alone? You're stronger than you realize, but you don't have to bear this burden by yourself." "I have to," she replied, her voice steady. "I won't be your pawn." With that, she turned away, walking toward Emma and Sophia, who were still playing. As she approached, she felt Dante's gaze on her back, a predator watching as its prey slipped away once more. The rest of the afternoon passed in a blur. Maya forced herself to focus on the girls, their laughter breaking through the tension that had settled in her chest. But she couldn't shake the feeling of Dante's presence, always lurking just out of sight. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the park, Maya felt a sense of dread settle in her stomach. She knew this wasn't over. Dante wouldn't give up easily, and neither would she. The battle lines were drawn, and she had no idea what would come next. But one thing was certain: she would fight for her independence, even if it meant facing the predator lurking in the shadows. As they made their way home, Maya held Emma's hand tightly, the warmth of her daughter grounding her in a world that felt increasingly chaotic. The uncertainty loomed large, but she would protect Emma at all costs. And as she glanced back at the park, she caught sight of Dante watching them, an enigmatic figure against the fading light. The pull between them was undeniable, but she would not let it consume her. Not now, not ever. Chapter 4. The full moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie glow over the city. Maya stood on her balcony, staring out at the shimmering lights below, her mind racing. The night had a strange energy, a palpable tension that made her skin prickle. Emma was asleep inside, blissfully unaware of the chaos brewing just outside their door. Dante had been unusually quiet since their last confrontation at the park, and while part of her was relieved, another part was filled with anxiety. She could feel him lurking at the edges of her life, and the thought made her uneasy. "Mama." Emma's sleepy voice broke through her thoughts, and Maya turned to see her daughter rubbing her eyes. "Can't sleep." "Just a minute, sweetheart," Maya called back, forcing herself to shake off the unease that had settled into her bones. She took one last look at the moon, feeling a strange pull toward it, before heading inside. As she tucked Emma back under the covers, she felt a surge of protectiveness. "Everything's okay," she whispered, brushing a strand of hair from her daughter's forehead. "Just go back to sleep. Can we go to the park tomorrow?" Emma asked, her eyes still heavy with sleep. Of course, Maya replied, forcing a smile. We'll have a fun day. After ensuring Emma was comfortable, Maya returned to the living room, her mind still troubled. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The city felt different tonight, the air charged with an electric energy that made her skin tingle. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from outside, shattering the stillness of the night. Maya's heart raced as she rushed to the window, her breath catching in her throat. In the alleyway below, shadows moved with unnatural speed, and a deep growl reverberated through the air. Mama! Emma called from the bedroom, panic lacing her voice. Stay inside, honey. Maya shouted, her heart pounding as she raced to the door. She grabbed her keys and dashed outside, the adrenaline pumping through her veins. As she stepped into the alley, the chaos unfolded before her. A massive figure, covered in dark fur, stood over a fallen man, teeth bared and eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. Maya's breath hitched as she realized she was witnessing a werewolf attack. Emma, she shouted, her voice filled with fear as she turned to run back inside, but before she could reach the door, she heard a scream. Maya! It was Sophia, her small voice breaking through the fear. She was standing a few feet away, frozen in terror. No! Maya cried, instinct kicking in. She rushed toward the girls, her heart racing. Get back! Before she could reach them, the rogue werewolf lunged, its powerful body barreling towards Sophia. Maya threw herself in front of the girls, adrenaline coursing through her as she felt the beast's hot breath on her neck. At that moment, a blur of motion rushed past her, and Dante appeared, his presence a force of nature. He launched himself at the rogue werewolf with a ferocity that took Maya's breath away. Run, he roared, his voice echoing through the alley as he engaged the creature. Maya's heart raced as she grabbed Emma and Sophia, pulling them behind her as Dante fought the rogue. The clash of fur and teeth reverberated through the air, a primal struggle that felt like something out of a nightmare. Stay close. Maya urged, her voice shaking as she shielded the girls with her body. The rogue werewolf snarled, but Dante was relentless, using his strength and agility to outmaneuver the beast. Maya watched, wide-eyed, as he fought with an intensity that left no doubt of his true nature. Dante, she shouted, panic gripping her. Be careful. But he didn't respond, focused entirely on the fight. With a powerful blow, he knocked the rogue against the wall, the impact reverberating through the alley. The rogue growled, but Dante was unyielding, his movements fluid and precise. Suddenly, the rogue broke free, charging toward Maya and the girls. Time seemed to slow as Maya felt a surge of fear wash over her. No, she screamed, instinctively stepping in front of Emma and Sophia. In that moment, everything changed. Dante let out a fierce growl that echoed through the alley, and Maya watched in horror as he transformed before her eyes. His body contorted, muscles rippling beneath his skin as he shifted into a magnificent wolf, towering and powerful. The moonlight glinted off his dark fur, and his eyes glowed with a fierce intensity. Maya stumbled back, shock coursing through her. The world she thought she knew shattered in an instant, leaving her grappling with the reality of what she was witnessing. Stay behind me. Dante's voice echoed in her mind, even as he lunged at the rogue once more, his wolf form a whirlwind of fury and strength. The rogue howled, a sound that resonated deep within Maya, and for a moment, she felt the primal pull of the supernatural world crashing into her reality. Maya! Emma cried, her voice filled with fear. It's okay, honey. Maya shouted, her voice trembling. It's okay. But the chaos continued, Dante and the rogue locked in a deadly dance, their movements fluid and powerful. Maya felt a surge of fear as she realized she was witnessing a battle between two formidable forces, one she had never believed could exist. With a final, powerful blow, Dante brought the rogue down, his teeth sinking into the creature's neck. The fight was over as quickly as it had begun, and the rogue lay still, the danger dissipating into the night. Dante transformed back, his human form emerging from the shadows of the alley, breathless and wild-eyed. He rushed over to Maya, his expression a mixture of concern and urgency. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice low and urgent. I saw you," Maya stammered, her mind spinning. "You're a werewolf." Dante nodded, his expression serious. "I had to protect you and the girls. There's no time to explain right now. We need to get out of here." Maya shook her head, her heart racing. "This can't be real. Werewolves don't exist." "I know this is overwhelming," he said, his voice steady. "But we need to move. There are others who will come looking for that rogue, and they won't care who you are." Maya felt the weight of his words crashing down on her. The world she had known was gone, replaced by a reality more dangerous than she could have ever imagined. "Let's go," she urged, grabbing Emma's hand and pulling Sophia close. They hurried down the alley, Dante leading the way, his presence a shield against the unknown. As they reached the street, Maya glanced back at the alley, the remnants of the battle still echoing in her mind. "What just happened?" she whispered, her heart pounding. "The rogue was sent by Marcus Stone, another alpha," Dante explained, his voice tense. "He's been looking for weaknesses to exploit, and you," he paused, his eyes locking onto hers with a fierce intensity. "You and the girls are his targets." Maya's breath caught in her throat. "Targets? Why?" "Because you saved Sophia," he replied, urgency in his voice. "You've become a symbol of my weakness, and Marcus will use that against me." Maya felt a surge of anger. "I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for any of this." "I know," Dante said, his voice softer now. "But you're involved whether you like it or not. I need to protect you. You mean something to me, and to my pack. Why should I trust you?" she demanded, feeling the weight of betrayal settle in her chest. "You've lied to me about who you are." "I didn't lie," he said, his expression earnest. "I just didn't tell you everything. But I swear, I didn't want to drag you into this world. I thought I could keep you safe." Maya felt torn, caught between the man she had thought she knew and the monstrous reality that had just been unveiled. "What do you expect from me, Dante? To just accept that you're a werewolf and that this is all a part of some twisted game?" "No game," he replied, his voice firm. "This is my life, and now it's yours too. You have to understand that." As they reached the car, Maya felt a cold wave of fear wash over her. The world outside was no longer the safe haven she had believed it to be. The supernatural lingered just beyond the surface, and she was now a part of it. "Get in," Dante urged, urgency in his tone. "We need to get to safety." Maya hesitated, glancing between Emma and Sophia, who were both watching her with wide eyes. They had been pulled into a nightmare, and she was desperate to shield them from the reality of it all. But she also knew that she couldn't turn back. The danger was real, and she had to protect her daughter and Sophia at all costs. "Okay," she finally said, her voice steady despite the fear coursing through her. "But I need answers." "Later," Dante promised, his eyes fierce. "Right now, we need to get you both to safety." As they drove away from the park, Maya felt a chill settle over her. The full moon hung in the sky, a silent witness to the chaos that had just unfolded. She had crossed a threshold into a world she never wanted to know, and now there was no turning back. With every passing moment, the gravity of her situation pressed down harder. She was no longer just a mother trying to protect her child, she was entangled in a web of supernatural politics, facing threats she had never imagined. And as she glanced at Dante, she felt the weight of his gaze on her, a predator watching over its prey. The battle between them was far from over, but she was determined to fight for her independence, even in a world where the rules had changed. The night was far from finished, and Maya knew that the revelations had only just begun. She had entered a realm where trust was a luxury, and survival was the only goal. Chapter 5. Maya sat in the sterile examination room, her heart racing as she stared at the walls painted a sickly shade of green. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead, casting a harsh glare on everything they touched. Emma was in the waiting area, playing quietly with a stuffed animal, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing around them. Dante had insisted they see Dr. Elena Vasquez, the pack's doctor, after the rogue attack. Maya felt a mix of anger and confusion swirling inside her. She was still grappling with the revelation that Dante was a werewolf, and now they were here, facing yet another layer of this surreal reality. Maya? Dr. Vasquez's voice broke through her thoughts, and Maya looked up to see the doctor entering the room, her expression professional yet warm. I'm glad you could make it. Thanks for seeing us, Maya replied, forcing a smile. I'm just, still trying to process everything. I can only imagine, Dr. Vasquez said, settling into a chair across from her. Dante told me about the rogue attack and your unique situation. Maya's heart raced at the word unique. It felt like a euphemism for the chaos that had invaded her life. What do you mean? Dr. Vasquez leaned forward, her brow furrowed with concern. We've noticed some unusual signs in you, Maya. Signs that suggest you may have dormant werewolf genetics. Maya's breath caught in her throat. What are you talking about? Your instincts, your ability to protect Sophia and Emma, Dr. Vasquez explained. Those aren't just maternal instincts, they're heightened. And there's more. You seem to have a connection with Dante that goes beyond mere attraction. What do you mean? Maya asked, her voice barely above a whisper. You can sense his emotions, Dr. Vasquez said, her gaze steady. That's not normal for a human. Maya shook her head, disbelief flooding her. I can't be a werewolf. I'm just, me. Dr. Vasquez hesitated, her expression serious. Maya, have you ever heard stories about your family? Your grandmother, perhaps? My grandmother? Maya echoed, confusion etched on her face. What does she have to do with this? Dante mentioned that you've had some unusual experiences, particularly around the full moon, Dr. Vasquez continued. It's possible that your grandmother was part of a werewolf pack. If she fled, it's likely you carry recessive genes that could be awakening. Maya's mind raced, grappling with the implications. So you're saying I might not be entirely human? Dr. Vasquez nodded. If your grandmother was indeed a werewolf, it would explain your instincts and sensitivity. The mate bond with Dante may be triggering these dormant traits. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. And what about Emma? Is she affected too? Dr. Vasquez's expression softened. That's a concern. Children of werewolves can show signs of shifting abilities, especially if there's a strong genetic connection. Emma might be exhibiting some early signs. Maya's heart sank. What do you mean by signs? As the full moon approaches, some children display heightened energy or unusual behavior, Dr. Vasquez explained. It's possible that Emma could be feeling the effects of her lineage as well. Maya felt a wave of nausea wash over her. This can't be happening. I can't lose her to this world. You won't lose her, Dr. Vasquez assured her. But you have to understand the reality of your situation. You and Emma are tied to this world now, whether you like it or not. Maya's mind spun with the revelation. She had fought to protect her daughter from the dangers surrounding them, but now it felt like those dangers were embedded in their very DNA. What do I do? Maya asked, her voice trembling. How do I keep Emma safe? Dr. Vasquez leaned back, her expression thoughtful. You need to embrace your instincts, Maya. Learn about your heritage. Understand the bond you share with Dante, and what it means for both you and Emma. I don't want any part of this. Maya exclaimed, her voice rising with frustration. I never asked for any of it. I know, Dr. Vasquez said, her tone gentle but firm. But the truth is, you're already part of this world. You can either fight it or learn to navigate it. Maya felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes. What if I can't do it? What if I can't protect Emma? You are stronger than you realize, Dr. Vasquez said, her gaze steady. But you need to trust yourself, and trust Dante. Trust Dante? Maya echoed, disbelief flooding her voice. He lied to me about who he is. How can I trust him now? He didn't lie to hurt you, Dr. Vasquez replied, her voice soothing. He was trying to protect you. The mate bond is a powerful connection, and it's complicated. He cares for you, Maya, and that's real. Maya felt the weight of Dr. Vasquez's words, but the uncertainty lingered. Could she truly trust Dante after everything that had happened? As if sensing her turmoil, Dr. Vasquez added, "You need to have an open conversation with him. It's important for both of you to understand the bond you share and what it means for your future." Maya nodded slowly, her mind racing. What if I don't want that future? Then you need to make that clear, Dr. Vasquez said. But I urge you to think carefully about your next steps. You're not alone in this, and you have a choice to make. After the appointment, Maya found herself in a daze, her thoughts swirling with the revelations Dr. Vasquez had shared. She needed to talk to Dante, needed to confront him about everything, but the weight of the truth felt like a heavy burden. When they arrived back at the pack house, Maya took a deep breath, steeling herself for the conversation to come. She found Dante in the living room, his expression serious as he looked up from a stack of papers. "Maya," he said, his voice low. "How did it go?" "It was a lot," she replied, her heart racing. "We need to talk." "About what?" he asked, his expression shifting into concern. "About me." "About Emma," she said, her voice steady. "Dr. Vasquez told me something that I can't ignore." Dante's gaze sharpened. "What did she say?" "She said I might have dormant werewolf genetics," Maya replied, her voice trembling slightly. "That my grandmother might have been a werewolf." Dante's expression shifted, a mixture of surprise and understanding. "I suspected that might be the case." Maya felt anger flare within her. "You suspected? And you didn't think to tell me?" "I wanted to protect you," he said, his voice earnest. "I didn't want to overwhelm you with everything at once." "Overwhelm me," she echoed, frustration bubbling to the surface. "You've already done that. And now you're telling me my daughter could be a part of this world too?" "Emma is safe," Dante assured her, his tone steady. "I promise you I'll do everything I can to protect both of you." Maya felt a surge of emotion. But what if she has these abilities? What if she starts to shift and can't control it? "I can't lose her to this." Dante stepped closer, his expression softening. "You won't lose her. I'll help you both through this. We'll figure it out together." Maya shook her head, her heart racing. "And what about our lives? What about the normal life I wanted for her?" "This is your reality now," Dante said, his voice firm but gentle. "You can't fight who you are. But you can learn to navigate it." "I don't want to be part of this world," Maya said, her voice trembling. "I just want to protect Emma." "Then let me help you," he urged, his gaze piercing. "You're not alone in this, Maya. I care about you both more than you know." Maya's heart raced at his words, but the fear and uncertainty weighed heavily on her. "What if this bond you're talking about is just a lie?" "It's not a lie," he insisted, stepping closer. "This bond is real, Maya. It's a connection that goes beyond anything I've ever felt. You and Emma are part of my pack now, whether you accept it or not." Maya felt torn, the weight of his words pressing down on her. "I don't know if I can accept any of this, Dante." "You have to give yourself time," he said, his tone softening. "And I'll be here every step of the way." As the night wore on, Maya felt the tension hanging between them, a delicate balance of emotions. She could feel the pull of the mate bond, the way it intertwined with her fear and uncertainty. But the truth was, she didn't know what the future held. The revelations had shattered her understanding of herself and her daughter, leaving her grappling with questions she didn't know how to answer. And as she lay in bed that night, staring up at the ceiling, she couldn't shake the feeling that the world was shifting around her, the lines between predator and prey blurring in a way she never expected. Emma stirred in her sleep, and Maya turned to look at her daughter, the innocence of her face a stark contrast to the chaos that surrounded them. She had to protect Emma, no matter what. But as the full moon hung high in the sky, Maya felt the weight of her new reality pressing down on her. The world was changing, and she had to find a way to navigate it, even if it meant confronting the darkness lurking just beneath the surface. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, and she would need to be ready. She would fight for her daughter, and she would fight for herself, even if it meant embracing a world that terrified her. Because in the end, love was worth fighting for, and she would do whatever it took to safeguard the future for both of them. Chapter 6. The tension in the air was palpable as Maya stood in the living room of the pack house, her heart racing. Emma and Sophia had spent the night with Dante, a decision she had reluctantly agreed to. She had hoped that a night of laughter and friendship would help ease the weight of their situation, but now, as she waited for them to return, a gnawing sense of dread settled in her stomach. "Maya, are you okay?" Dante asked, his voice low as he stepped into the room, concern etched across his face. "I don't know," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "I just have this feeling something's wrong." Dante's expression hardened. "What do you mean?" "Just, something doesn't feel right," she replied, rubbing her temples in frustration. "I can't shake the feeling that we're being watched." Before Dante could respond, the front door burst open, and a pack member rushed in, panic evident in his eyes. "Dante. It's Marcus. He's made his move." Maya's heart dropped. "What do you mean?" "Emma and Sophia are missing," the pack member said, his voice trembling. "Marcus kidnapped them to lure you out, to force a confrontation." "No." Maya gasped, her breath hitching in her throat. "We have to find them." Dante's expression darkened, his eyes flashing with anger. "We will. But we need to act quickly. Marcus won't wait long." "Where would he take them?" Maya asked, her mind racing with fear for her daughter. "He has a warehouse on the outskirts of the city, a place he uses for his illegal operations," Dante replied, his voice steady despite the urgency of the situation. "We need to gather the pack and plan our attack." Maya felt a surge of determination. "I'm coming with you." "No, Maya," Dante said, his tone firm. "It's too dangerous. I won't risk you." "I'm not going to sit here while my daughter is in danger," she shot back, her heart pounding in her chest. "You need me." "Maya, you don't understand what you're asking for," he said, frustration creeping into his voice. "This is a war, and I can't have you in the line of fire." "I'm already in the line of fire, Dante," she retorted, her voice rising. "I'm part of this now, whether you like it or not." He hesitated, his gaze softening as he studied her. "You're right. But I can't let you face this alone. You don't know what Marcus is capable of." "I know he's a monster," Maya replied, her voice steady. "And I won't let him hurt my daughter or Sophia. We have to work together." Dante nodded slowly, a flicker of respect in his eyes. "Okay. But we need to be careful. We can't let him see us coming." As they gathered the pack members, Maya felt the weight of the situation settling heavily on her shoulders. She was terrified for Emma and Sophia, but a fierce determination burned within her. She had to protect them at all costs. The pack members murmured among themselves, some casting wary glances at Maya. She could feel the divide in the room, those who supported Dante and those who saw her as a weakness. The tension was thick, and she knew that the stakes were higher than ever. "Listen up," Dante called, his voice commanding attention. "We're going to Marcus's warehouse to retrieve the girls. We need to be strategic. Maya will be with me." Maya felt a wave of support wash over her, but it was quickly overshadowed by the whispers of doubt that floated around the room. "What if she's the reason we're in this mess?" one pack member muttered. "Enough." Dante's voice boomed, silencing the room. "Maya is not the enemy. She's part of this pack now, and we need to work together." Maya clenched her fists, trying to push back the wave of anger that threatened to overwhelm her. They needed to focus on the mission, not their fears about her. "Let's move," Dante said, leading the way as they prepared to head out. Maya followed closely behind, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and adrenaline. As they arrived at the warehouse, the night felt alive with tension. The moon hung high in the sky, casting a silvery light over the abandoned building. Maya could feel the energy thrumming in the air, a primal instinct pulling at her. "Stay close," Dante instructed, his voice low as they approached the entrance. Maya nodded, but she could feel the wolf within her stirring, a restless energy awakening in response to the danger ahead. She had never felt anything like it before, and the sensation both exhilarated and terrified her. They moved quietly through the shadows, their senses heightened as they scanned the area for any sign of Emma or Sophia. But as they reached the main room of the warehouse, a chilling sight met their eyes. Sophia was tied to a chair in the center of the room, her eyes wide with fear. Emma was nowhere to be seen. "Marcus!" Dante growled, his voice low and dangerous. From the shadows, Marcus Stone emerged, a smug smile on his face. "Ah, Dante, you've brought your little pet. How sweet." "Let the girls go, Marcus," Dante demanded, his body tense with restrained fury. "Not until you prove you're still the alpha," Marcus taunted, his eyes gleaming with malice. "I want to see just how strong you really are." "Maya!" Sophia cried, her voice trembling. "Help!" Maya felt a surge of protective instinct crash over her like a tidal wave. "I'll get you out," she shouted, rushing forward, but Dante grabbed her arm. "Wait," he hissed, pulling her back. "It's a trap." But the sight of Emma's terrified face sent a shock of adrenaline through Maya. "I don't care," she yelled, shaking off his grip. "I have to save them." In that moment, something deep within her awakened, the wolf she had felt stirring inside, the dormant power that had been waiting for this very moment. She could feel the energy surging through her, a primal force that demanded to be unleashed. "Dante," she shouted, her voice filled with a fierce determination. "I can do this." Before he could respond, Maya felt the transformation begin. It was sudden and overwhelming, her body shifting and contorting as the wolf inside fought to break free. The pain was intense, but it was nothing compared to the fear of losing Emma. "Maya!" Dante cried, but his voice faded as the world around her shifted. The change was violent, a tumultuous storm of emotion and instinct as her wolf emerged for the first time. She could feel the power surging through her, the instincts taking over as she transformed fully. The warehouse faded into a blur, replaced by the sharpness of her wolf senses. With a growl that echoed off the walls, Maya lunged toward Marcus, a blur of fur and strength. The rogue alpha barely had time to react before she was upon him, her wolf instinct driving her to protect her daughter. "Maya!" Dante shouted, his voice filled with both concern and awe. But Maya didn't hear him. The wolf was in control now, driven by instinct and rage. She could see the fear in Marcus's eyes as she lunged at him, powerful and feral. The world around her was a cacophony of sounds, Sophia's cries, the growls of the pack, and the chaos of the moment. Marcus stumbled back, trying to regain his footing, but Maya was relentless. She could feel the wolf's power coursing through her, a force she had never tapped into before. With a swift movement, she knocked Marcus to the ground, pinning him beneath her. "Let them go," she growled, feeling the primal energy surge through her. But as she stared down at Marcus, something shifted within her. The rage that had fueled her transformation began to wane, replaced by a wave of confusion. She could hear the voices around her, the pack members murmuring in disbelief, and she felt Dante's presence behind her, a grounding force in the chaos. "Maya," he said softly, his voice cutting through the haze. "You need to regain control." But the wolf was strong, the instincts clawing at her to dominate, to assert her power. She felt herself teetering on the edge, the line between Maya and the wolf blurring dangerously. "Maya!" Dante's voice rang out again, filled with urgency. "You are in control. Remember who you are." In that moment, recognition flickered within her. She was not just the wolf, she was Maya, a mother fighting for her daughter. With a fierce growl, she pushed back against the primal instincts, forcing herself to regain control. As her vision cleared, she saw Marcus beneath her, fear etched across his face. "You're insane," he spat, trying to wriggle free. "No," Maya said, her voice low and steady, a mix of growl and human. "You're the one who's insane. Let the girls go. With a surge of energy, she released him, stepping back as Dante moved in beside her, his expression a mixture of pride and concern. Get Sophia, he instructed, his eyes locked on Maya. I'll handle Marcus. Maya nodded, rushing to the chair where Sophia was tied. The wolf within her was still restless, but she was in control now, and she needed to focus. With a swift motion, she tore the ropes binding Sophia and helped her to her feet. Are you okay? She asked, her voice a mix of urgency and worry. I'm scared, Maya. Sophia cried, tears streaming down her cheeks. It's going to be okay, Maya reassured her, glancing back at Dante, who was confronting Marcus. The pack had rallied around them, the tension in the room palpable as they prepared for whatever came next. Let's get out of here, Maya urged, taking Sophia's hand as they moved toward the exit. But as they turned to leave, Marcus lunged for Dante, his rage boiling over. You think you can just take what's mine? I'll destroy everything you love. Maya felt the wolf stir again, the protective instinct surging to the surface. She couldn't let him hurt Dante, she couldn't let him hurt anyone. With a powerful growl, she turned back, feeling the wolf's rage bubbling within her. Enough, she shouted, her voice echoing through the warehouse. Marcus froze, uncertainty flickering in his eyes as he realized the power standing before him. But the momentary hesitation was all it took for Dante to strike. With a swift movement, Dante lunged, tackling Marcus to the ground. The two alphas struggled, their bodies colliding with a force that rattled the very foundation of the warehouse. Maya's heart raced as she watched, torn between the need to protect her daughter and the instinct to support Dante. But she knew she had to stay focused. The girls needed her. Come on, Sophia. Maya urged, leading the way as they rushed toward the exit. But as they reached the door, the sound of a loud crash echoed behind them, and Maya turned just in time to see Dante and Marcus locked in a fierce struggle, the pack divided as they watched the two alphas fight for dominance. Maya! Dante shouted, his voice strained as he struggled against Marcus's grip. Get the girls out. I won't leave you, she cried, feeling the power of the wolf surge within her once more. Go, he yelled, desperation in his eyes. Maya hesitated, torn between loyalty to Dante and the instinct to protect her daughter. But as Marcus lunged for Dante, she felt the wolf take over once again, the primal instinct driving her forward. With a fierce growl, she charged back into the fray, her wolf instincts propelling her to protect the man she loved. She couldn't let Marcus win, she couldn't let him destroy everything they had fought for. As she reached Dante, she felt the power surge through her, and with a swift movement, she lunged at Marcus, her wolf instincts guiding her as she knocked him away from Dante. The impact sent Marcus sprawling, and for a moment, the room fell silent as everyone watched in disbelief. Maya felt the wolf's power coursing through her, and she embraced it, allowing it to fuel her as she stood protectively in front of Dante. Maya! Dante shouted, his voice filled with awe and pride. You did it. But the victory was short-lived. Marcus pulled himself to his feet, fury etched across his face. You think you can win this? You're weak, Dante. You've let a human distract you from your true purpose. Maya felt the wolf's rage boiling beneath the surface, and she stepped forward, ready to defend her family. You don't know anything about strength, she shouted, her voice fierce. Dante is stronger than you'll ever be. As the battle raged on, Maya felt the full weight of her identity crashing over her. She was not just a mother or a woman caught in a dangerous world, she was a part of this pack, a force to be reckoned with, and she would fight for those she loved. With a final surge of determination, she shifted fully, embracing her wolf. The transformation was both liberating and terrifying, the power surging through her as she prepared for the final confrontation. But as she faced Marcus, she could feel the darkness rising within her, the threat of losing herself to the wolf's rage. She had to fight to maintain control, to remember who she was amidst the chaos. Maya! Dante called, his voice cutting through the haze. You're in control. Remember what you're fighting for. With a fierce growl, she focused on the bond they shared, the love that tied them together. She would not lose herself, she would embrace the wolf and fight for her family. As the battle reached its climax, Maya felt a surge of power coursing through her, the wolf recognizing Dante as her true mate. With a final burst of strength, she lunged at Marcus, determined to protect everything she loved. The warehouse shook with the intensity of their struggle, the lines between predator and prey blurred as they fought for dominance. But in that moment, Maya knew she would prevail. The wolf within her was powerful, but it was also a part of her, a piece of her heritage she would learn to embrace. With a final roar, she pushed Marcus back, asserting her dominance as the new alpha alongside Dante. The pack rallied around them, united in their strength as they faced the darkness together. And as the dust settled, Maya stood at Dante's side, the weight of their bond solidified in that moment. She was no longer just a mother fighting for her daughter, she was part of something greater, a family bound by love and loyalty. The battle had been won, but the war was far from over. Maya knew they would face new challenges, new threats, but together, they would rise to meet them, strong and united in their fight for survival. In the face of danger, they had discovered their true selves, and the journey ahead would be one of strength, love, and unwavering determination. The world had changed, but they would navigate it together, each step a testament to their bond and the fierce love they shared. Chapter 7. The air was thick with tension as Maya stood at the center of the pack house, her heart racing. The aftermath of the battle with Marcus Stone had left its marks, both physically and emotionally. The pack had rallied around her and Dante, but the victory felt hollow, a fragile piece hanging by a thread. Dante was pacing the room, his expression dark and stormy. "We need to be prepared for anything. Marcus won't take this lightly," he said, his voice low and serious. Maya nodded, anxiety gnawing at her insides. "He'll come back. He always does." Just as the words left her lips, the door swung open, revealing a figure that sent a shockwave of disbelief through the room. It was David, Maya's ex-husband. "What are you doing here?" Maya demanded, her voice shaking with anger and confusion. David stepped inside, his demeanor smug and self-assured. "I came to talk," he said, his tone dripping with false charm. Dante moved closer to Maya, his protective instincts flaring. "You're not welcome here, David. You should leave." Maya felt a whirlwind of emotions crash over her. "What do you want?" she asked, trying to keep her voice steady. "I have some information that might interest you," David said, glancing around the room as if sizing up the pack. "About Emma." "What about Emma?" Maya pressed, her heart racing. David smirked, a look of triumph in his eyes. "She's not who you think she is. She's not my daughter." Maya's stomach dropped. "What are you talking about?" "Emma's biological father is someone else," David continued, his voice smooth and calculated. "Someone you had a brief fling with in college. A werewolf." Maya felt the ground shift beneath her feet, the implications of his words hitting her like a punch to the gut. "What? How do you know this?" "Let's just say I have my sources," he replied, leaning back against the wall with a smirk. "I sold the information to a few interested parties. You could say I had some debts to pay." "David," Maya warned, anger boiling inside her. "This isn't a game." "Isn't it?" he shot back, his eyes glinting with malice. "You thought you could keep your perfect little life while I struggled to pay my bills. Well, now you know the truth. Stop." Maya's voice rose as she fought to contain her emotions. "What does this have to do with Marcus?" "Oh, it has everything to do with him," David said, his smile widening. "See, Marcus orchestrated that whole convenience store robbery to kill Sophia and weaken Dante. You saving the girl ruined his plan." Maya's heart raced as the pieces started to fall into place. "You're lying," she said, but even as she said it, she could feel the truth settling like a weight in her chest. "Am I?" David shot back. "Marcus and I have had a few conversations. He's always looking for ways to undermine Dante, and with you and your precious daughter caught in the mix, he saw an opportunity." Maya felt the room spinning. "You sold information about Emma to Marcus?" "Not just information," David sneered. I sold the whole story. I thought it might help me get some money. You know how it is, gambling debts and all that. Maya felt sick. You put Emma in danger for money? Let's not act all high and mighty here, Maya, he said, his voice condescending. You've been living in a fantasy world thinking you could protect her from everything. But the truth is, she's part of this world now, whether you like it or not. Shut up. Maya shouted, her voice trembling with rage. You have no idea what you're talking about. Emma is safe with me. Safe? David laughed, a harsh sound that grated on her nerves. You think she's safe? She's a target now, and you're the reason why. Maya, Dante said, stepping closer, his voice low and steady. We need to focus on Marcus. We can't let him use this against us. Marcus already has, David interjected, his eyes gleaming with satisfaction. You see, he knows Emma's abilities are awakening. He wants her for himself, he wants to use her to challenge Dante's position as alpha. Maya felt a surge of panic. What do you mean? What abilities? Let's just say she has a natural affinity for the wolf, David smirked. She's not like you, Maya. She's a natural-born werewolf, and that makes her a valuable asset to Marcus. No, Maya whispered, horror clawing at her insides. This can't be happening. Dante's expression hardened, his jaw clenched as he faced David. You've put this pack in danger, and for that, you will pay. Pay? David scoffed. What are you going to do? Kick me out? I've already got what I want. And now that I've spilled the beans, I'm untouchable. Don't underestimate what we're capable of, Dante warned, his voice low and fierce. You've endangered my family, and I won't let that slide. Maya's heart raced as she watched the tension between the two men escalate. She could feel the weight of betrayal pressing down on her, and the anger boiling inside her was almost unbearable. Why did you do this, David? She demanded, her voice shaking with emotion. Why betray your own daughter? Because I'm tired of being the second choice, he replied, his voice dripping with bitterness. You've always been the one who got away, the one who had it all. But I'm done playing nice. Emma is not a pawn in your games. Maya shouted, her heart pounding in her chest. She's a child. Exactly, David sneered. And that makes her the perfect target. You'll never keep her safe from Marcus, especially now that he knows the truth. Maya felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes as the weight of his words settled in. I'll protect her, she said, her voice firm. I'll do whatever it takes. Even if it means embracing your own wolf? David taunted. You know you can't hide from the truth, Maya. You're part of this world now, just like Emma. Dante stepped forward, his presence a powerful shield against David's venomous words. You're wrong, David. She'll never be a part of your twisted games. Don't be so sure, David shot back, his eyes glinting with malice. You might find that Maya is more vulnerable than you think. Maya felt the anger surge within her, the wolf stirring as she faced her ex-husband. Get out, she said, her voice low and dangerous. Get out before I lose control. David smirked, his confidence unshaken. You think you can intimidate me? I know your secrets, Maya. You're not as strong as you pretend to be. Enough. Dante roared, his voice echoing through the room. You're no longer welcome here, David. Leave now, or I'll make you regret it. For a moment, silence hung in the air, thick and heavy. David's smirk faltered as he realized the gravity of Dante's words. But then, with a final sneer, he turned and strode toward the door. This isn't over, he called back. You'll regret crossing me. As the door slammed shut behind him, the tension in the room hung like a storm cloud ready to burst. Maya felt tears spill over, the weight of betrayal and fear crashing down on her. Maya, Dante said softly, stepping closer. I'm so sorry. I didn't know he would come here. Why didn't you tell me, she asked, her voice breaking. Why didn't you tell me Emma's father might still be alive? I wanted to protect you, he replied, his voice filled with sincerity. But now we have to focus on keeping Emma safe. Marcus will use this against us, and we can't let that happen. Maya nodded, forcing herself to breathe through the panic. He can't take Emma. I won't let him. We'll figure this out, Dante reassured her, his hand resting on her shoulder. We'll find a way to keep her safe. But as she looked into his eyes, she felt the weight of uncertainty pressing down on her. The world had shifted beneath her feet, and now she was faced with the possibility that everything she thought she knew was built on lies. I have to talk to Emma, Maya said, her heart racing. She needs to know what's happening. Dante nodded, his expression serious. I'll come with you. We can't let her feel alone in this. As they made their way to Emma's room, Maya felt her heart pounding in her chest. She needed to protect her daughter, but she also had to prepare her for the truth. When they reached Emma's room, Maya knocked softly on the door. Sweetheart, it's me. Can I come in? Yeah, Mom. Emma's voice called from inside. Maya opened the door to find Emma sitting on her bed, her stuffed animal clutched tightly in her arms. What's wrong? Emma asked, her eyes wide with concern. Can we talk? Maya said, her heart aching at the sight of her daughter's innocence. Of course, Emma replied, her brow furrowing. Is it about Dad? Maya's heart twisted at the mention of David. Sort of. I need to tell you something important. As she sat down beside her daughter, Maya took a deep breath, trying to steady her racing heart. Emma, there are things about our family that we need to discuss. Okay, Emma said, her voice small. Is it about the werewolves? Maya's breath caught in her throat. How do you know about that? I heard you and Dante talking, Emma admitted, her eyes wide with curiosity. And I saw you change. It was really cool. Maya felt a mix of fear and pride. It is cool, but it's also complicated. There are things you need to understand. Like what? Emma asked, tilting her head. Emma, you're special, Maya began, her voice steady. There's something about you that makes you different. Your father, David, isn't your biological dad. Emma's eyes widened in surprise. What do you mean? You have another father, Maya explained gently. Someone from when I was in college. He was part of a world that I never wanted to be a part of, and he might still be alive. Is that why I can do things? Like sense stuff? Emma asked, her voice filled with wonder. Maya nodded, her heart aching. Yes. You're like me, but even more special. You have abilities that are natural to you, and they're waking up. Emma looked down, her brow furrowing in confusion. Does that mean I'm a werewolf? Yes, Maya said softly, her heart breaking at the thought of her daughter's innocence being stripped away. But it also means there are people who might want to use you for their own gain. Like Marcus? Emma asked, her voice trembling. Yes, Maya replied, feeling the weight of the world pressing down on her. We have to be careful, but I promise I'll protect you. Tears welled in Emma's eyes as she looked up at her mother. What if I can't control it? You will, Maya insisted, her voice filled with determination. We'll figure it out together. You're not alone in this. Dante stepped forward, his presence filling the room. Emma, you're part of a pack now. We'll teach you how to embrace your abilities and keep you safe. Maya could see the fear in Emma's eyes, but also a flicker of hope. You promise? I promise, Maya said, wrapping her arms around her daughter and holding her tightly. We'll face this together. As they sat there, the weight of betrayal and uncertainty hung between them. Maya knew the road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but she also felt a fierce determination to protect her family. And as Dante's hand rested on her shoulder, she felt the strength of their bond grounding her in a world that was rapidly changing. Together, they would face whatever came next, united in their love and determination to keep Emma safe. But the battle was far from over, and Maya knew that the scars of betrayal would take time to heal. As she held her daughter close, she steeled herself for the fight ahead, ready to confront the darkness that threatened to consume them all. Chapter 8. The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting a golden hue over the pack house as Maya stood on the porch, her heart racing. This was it, the final confrontation with Marcus Stone loomed ahead, and everything she had fought for would come to a head. Dante stepped beside her, his presence a steadying force. "Are you ready?" he asked, his voice low and serious. Maya turned to him, her heart swelling with a mix of fear and determination. "I have to be. For Emma. For Sophia. For all of us." He nodded, his expression fierce. "We'll face this together. Our bond makes us stronger." As they made their way to the clearing where the pack had gathered, Maya felt the weight of their shared experiences pressing down on her. The challenges they had faced had forged a bond that was unbreakable, and now it would be put to the test. When they arrived, the pack members were already assembled, their expressions a mix of anxiety and determination. The atmosphere was charged with energy, a palpable sense of anticipation hanging in the air. "Listen up," Dante called, his voice commanding attention. "Today, we confront Marcus Stone and put an end to his threat once and for all." Maya felt the collective energy of the pack surge around her, and she stepped forward, her heart racing. "We need to unite. This isn't just about defeating Marcus, it's about creating a future where both humans and werewolves can coexist." The murmurs among the pack grew louder, and Maya sensed the tension in the air. Some were skeptical, while others were eager for change. But she felt Dante's hand on her back, grounding her as she continued. "We've all faced struggles," she said, her voice steady. "But we can't let fear divide us. We have to embrace our differences and work together." Dante stepped forward, his gaze fierce. "Maya is right. We are stronger together. It's time to redefine what it means to be a pack." As the words left his lips, a low growl echoed through the clearing, and Maya felt the air thicken with tension. Marcus emerged from the shadows, flanked by a group of his loyal followers. His eyes glinted with malice as he surveyed the gathered pack. "Look at this pathetic display," Marcus sneered, his voice dripping with contempt. "You think you can unite humans and werewolves? You'll never be strong enough." Maya felt anger boiling within her, but she kept her voice steady. "We are stronger than you think, Marcus. We won't be intimidated by your threats." "Intimidation?" He laughed, the sound harsh and mocking. "You're nothing but a human playing at being a wolf. You'll never be accepted." Dante stepped forward, his posture commanding. "We'll see about that. You've caused enough pain and suffering, Marcus. It ends today." With a flick of his wrist, he signaled the pack to take their positions, and Maya felt a surge of adrenaline as she prepared for the confrontation. The bond between her and Dante pulsed with energy, their connection deepening as they moved in sync. "Are you ready?" Dante asked, his eyes locked onto hers. "I am," Maya replied, feeling the power of her wolf stirring within her. "Let's do this." With a roar, Marcus lunged forward, and the battle began. Maya felt the rush of adrenaline as she transformed, her wolf emerging with a ferocity that surprised even her. The world around her sharpened, the sounds of the fight echoing in her ears as she navigated the chaos. Dante fought alongside her, their movements fluid and instinctual. They were a team, united in their purpose, and together they pressed forward against Marcus and his followers. Maya felt a surge of power as she faced one of Marcus's loyalists, her wolf instincts guiding her as she dodged and struck. The fight was intense, and the realization of her newfound abilities fueled her determination. She had embraced her true nature, and now she was ready to protect her family at all costs. As the battle raged on, Maya caught sight of Emma and Sophia watching from the sidelines, their eyes wide with fear. A surge of protectiveness surged through her, and she fought with renewed vigor, determined to keep her daughters safe. "Stay back," she shouted to them, but Emma stepped forward, her expression fierce. "I can help," Emma called, her voice steady and determined. "No, Emma," Maya shouted, but it was too late. Emma's instincts kicked in, and she transformed, her wolf emerging with a grace that left Maya breathless. "Maya, stay close," Dante called, his voice cutting through the chaos as he fought off another attacker. Maya felt a mix of pride and fear as she watched her daughter embrace her abilities. Emma's wolf was smaller than Maya's, but there was a strength and determination in her movements that mirrored her mother's. As the fight raged on, Maya and Dante fought back to back, their bond making them an unstoppable force. With every strike, every movement, they felt the strength of their connection deepening, empowering them as they fought against Marcus and his followers. "Maya!" Dante shouted, his voice fierce. "We need to take him down now." Maya nodded, determination flooding her. "Let's end this." With a surge of energy, they charged toward Marcus together. The rogue alpha was caught off guard by their combined strength, and Maya felt the wolf within her roar with approval as they closed in. "Your reign of terror ends here, Marcus," Dante growled, his eyes fierce as he lunged forward. In a powerful clash, Maya and Dante attacked simultaneously, their movements synchronized as they brought Marcus to the ground. The fight was fierce, but together they were unstoppable. As Marcus struggled beneath them, desperation flashed in his eyes. "You think you can defeat me? I am the future of this pack." "No," Maya said, her voice steady. "You are the past. It's time for a new beginning." With one final push, they subdued Marcus, and the pack rallied around them, united in their strength. The battle was won, and the threat of Marcus' stone was finally over. As the dust settled, Maya turned to Dante, their eyes locking in a moment of shared triumph. "We did it," she whispered, a smile breaking across her face. "We did," he replied, his voice filled with pride. "Together." The pack members erupted in cheers, their voices rising in a chorus of celebration. Maya felt a wave of relief wash over her, knowing that they had forged a new path together. As the celebrations continued, Maya surveyed the pack, her heart swelling with pride. They had faced insurmountable odds and emerged stronger, united in their purpose. "Thank you for believing in me," Maya said to Dante, her voice filled with sincerity. "I couldn't have done this without you." He smiled, his expression warm. "You are stronger than you know, Maya. You've embraced your true nature, and that makes all the difference." Maya felt gratitude wash over her as she watched Emma and Sophia play together, their laughter echoing through the clearing. She had fought for this moment, for the chance to protect her family and create a future where they could thrive. In the days that followed, the pack united under a new philosophy, one that embraced both humans and werewolves. Maya took on her role as Luna, the alpha female, and began training with the pack, learning the ways of leadership and strength. Every day brought new challenges, but Maya faced them with determination and grace. She was no longer just a mother trying to protect her daughter, she was a leader, a warrior, and a part of something greater. Emma began to thrive in her new supernatural family, gaining an older sister in Sophia. The bond between the two girls blossomed, their laughter and camaraderie a testament to their shared experiences. As the pack grew stronger, so did Maya and Dante's relationship. Their love deepened, forged in the fires of battle and strengthened by the trials they had faced together. Finally, the day of their mating ceremony arrived, a celebration of love and unity. The clearing was adorned with flowers, the air filled with the scent of pine and wildflowers. Pack members gathered, their faces lit with joy as they prepared to witness the union of their alpha pair. As Maya stood before the gathered pack, her heart raced with anticipation. She looked at Dante, who stood beside her, his eyes filled with love and pride. "Today, we celebrate not just our union," he said, his voice steady, "but the future of our pack, one that embraces all who wish to be a part of it." Maya felt tears prick at her eyes as they exchanged vows, their promises echoing through the clearing. In that moment, she knew they were forging a new path together, one that would lead to a brighter future for their family and the pack. As they sealed their vows with a kiss, the pack erupted in cheers, their voices rising in a chorus of celebration. Maya felt a wave of joy wash over her, knowing that they had created a home where all could thrive. But as the celebrations continued, Maya felt a flutter of unease in the back of her mind. The past had a way of catching up with them, and she couldn't shake the feeling that their journey was far from over. Later that evening, as she settled into bed beside Dante, she felt a sense of peace wash over her. They had faced darkness and emerged stronger, united in their love and determination. But just as she was about to drift off to sleep, a knock on the door interrupted the stillness. Dante stirred beside her, his expression alert as he rose to answer. "Maya," he said, his voice low as he opened the door. "It's for you." A tall figure stood in the doorway, a man with piercing blue eyes and an air of authority. He held an envelope in his hand, and Maya's heart raced as she recognized the weight of what was happening. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice steady despite the anxiety swirling within her. "I'm a private investigator," he said, his expression serious. "I have important information regarding your daughter." Maya felt the ground shift beneath her feet. "What do you mean?" He stepped forward, handing her the envelope. "Inside, you'll find the answers you seek. Emma's biological father is alive." Maya's breath caught in her throat as she opened the envelope, her heart racing as she read the contents. "He's the alpha of a rival pack in California," the letter read, "and he's coming to claim his daughter." The weight of the revelation crashed over her like a wave, and she felt the world spin around her. Emma's father was alive. The man from her past, the one she had never known, was now a part of their lives in a way she could never have anticipated. "Maya?" Dante's voice broke through her thoughts, concern etched on his face. "What's wrong?" Tears streamed down her cheeks as she met his gaze, the weight of uncertainty pressing down on her. "Emma's father is alive. He's coming for her." Dante's expression hardened, determination flooding his features. "We'll face this together, Maya. We will protect our family." As she held the letter tightly in her hands, Maya felt a surge of strength wash over her. They had faced darkness before, and they would face it again. Together, they would navigate whatever challenges lay ahead. The journey was far from over, but now they had the strength of their bond and the support of their pack. Love, family, and unity would guide them through the trials to come, and Maya was ready to embrace whatever the future held. As she lay back down beside Dante, she felt the warmth of his presence beside her. Together, they would forge a new path, one filled with hope and determination, ready to confront the shadows of their past and embrace the light of their future. Thank you for listening to this story. Like, share and subscribe for more.